morning. I am so excited because I'm getting my brows laminated. I have to leave in 5 minutes, but I wanted to get my brows laminated for quite some time, and that is because I don't have a lot of my brows don't fill in at the ends, but they'll grow long, and so laminating should help me get a good shape on them and grow them to have fullness. And I've just been wanting to do this for a while, so I'm really excited to do it and excited to see a professional, and I just can't wait to bring you along with me. And yeah, so these are them before. They can grow long, but these tails are so thin and I cannot grow them. I don't pluck them there, I cannot grow them thicker. So I'm really excited to see what we do together. I just got here. I'm 20 minutes early for my appointment, which I'm always early. Anyway, what I'm talking about is my brow hair will go long here, but these tails, just going in for brows today. We're trying to make this have more of a shape. So this is me before, and I can't wait to see after. We did a lash lift, which looks insane. It looks so good. And now we're doing, this is where my brows are going to go.
Yeah.
I'm so excited, and they've already been laminated. Oh my God, they look so much better, even just the white. Even if I had white brows, girl. It's a pill.
It's a pill?
So my dermatologist gave it to me, and you have less oil on your face.
Oh.
Even this, I love. I know it's not gonna be this at the end, but I love it. I'm freaking out. I've never felt this pretty in my life. I am never gonna not do this. This is the best start to my Saturn return ending. I'm freaking out because I feel so pretty. Genuinely, I feel like I actually have stuff that frames my face now. I can't stop looking at them. I'm so happy with them. I just did my makeup for the first time since getting my brows laminated and tinted. I feel so pretty. I've never felt this pretty in my life. I fear I've literally never looked better in my life. Hey, welcome to my couch. My couch is my favorite place to hang out, and the place I'm the most comfortable, and the place that I like to host people and make people feel comfortable. And I thought there was no better place to share with you than this. So Catherine's couch is going to be conversations that we have that are a little longer than perhaps the TikTok format. We can dive into conversations, and we can dive into confusion and find clarity together. So without further ado, welcome to Catherine's couch. Today's Catherine's couch conversation is gonna be about Saturn returns, because my Saturn return just ended and it was the best thing that's ever happened to me. Now, if you're here, perhaps you're nervous about your Saturn return, and that makes sense because the way we talk about Saturn can be really scary. And I hope that I'll be able to ease some of your fears in my perspective for the past 3 years. So first, let's talk about Saturn returns and timing of lives. It is understood and believed that your Saturn return, your first Saturn return, because you will have many in your life, is the entrance into adulthood. Astrologically. So this happens from the ages of 27 to 30. Saturn is a planet that likes to get everything on the right path. Saturn is a scorekeeper. Saturn is a hard worker. Saturn rules Capricorn as a sign. And what I mean by that, getting everything on the right path, is during the transit where Saturn is returning to the place it was when you were. When Saturn returns through the sign that it was when you were born for the first time, you will become more aware of things from your past. You will become more authentic through your experience and interaction with Saturn, because Saturn doesn't lie. Saturn doesn't take IOUs. Saturn is a very direct sign. So, and it's a slow moving sign. It wants to make sure you have crossed your T's and dotted your I's. And so the way I think of a Saturn return is, if you are on a journey, because we're all on our own journeys of life, and everybody's journey is different. Everybody is different. Your Saturn return is a period of time where throughout your journey of life, think of yourself carrying a backpack. For the 3 years of your Saturn return, you are going through everything in your backpack and making sure you have what you need, you've discarded what you don't, you have experienced and learned what you need to learn. And so, like going through anything that you've held for a long time, it can be emotional and it can be draining and it can be exhaustive. That does not mean it is less important, and that does not mean it is less helpful for the rest of your journey of life, because that's what life is. It's a long journey and it's a wonderful one, and you can't walk for a long time with a lot of things. You have a capacity of things you can hold. So what your Saturn return does is it allows you to take stock of what you're holding and put away what you no longer need. And this is where the real experience of the Saturn return, of your Saturn return, comes, is if you're thinking to yourself, okay, so I should do that for the next 3 years. Your Saturn return makes it so you have to do that for the next 3 years. It becomes impossible to ignore. For me personally, a lot of my Saturn return was around my identity, was around how I viewed myself, and how if I found myself beautiful and if I found myself worthy, and things that I swore I had unlearned, and experiences and relationships to my body, all of the things I swore I had learned before. My Saturn return was like, if you think of a video game, the big boss at the end of a chapter. And I had to use all of the tools that I had been learning throughout my life to go through it. And by needing to use those tools, I became more familiar with them, and I became more authentic as a person to who I am. You don't need to be afraid, because you're not going to forget to go through something. Saturn's really not going to forget anything. Now, what you can expect in your Saturn return is something I find funny. I think when I tell people that I love astrology, most of the time I hear people ask, like, what's your least favorite sign? I don't have one. What's the worst sign to be? There is not one. What astrology is energy, and predictive astrology is as well. And so there isn't one bad, it's not a rooted in the sand, good or bad, black and white. Astrology is understanding the energies in our lives. And so being prepared for a Saturn return is a funny thing, because you already are. Like, you already are. Is reminding yourself you already are. There isn't anything external that you should be glad you watched this or heard me. You have everything that you need. You do. Because your Saturn return is going to be different than anyone else's, because it is perfectly tailored to you, because the universe loves you, because the universe cares about you, because the universe wants you to live the most authentic and fulfilling life. The universe is looking out for you. So you don't need to worry about whether it is or is not, because whether or not you believe it, it is. I think my Saturn return really helped me hear my voice and hone in on the clarity of my intuition, something I had cherished and been blessed with earlier in life. It reminded me of how important that was. And I believe it's important for everybody's lives. So perhaps that will be part of your return. Perhaps your return will look nothing like, it won't be mine. It'll be different. It'll look like yours. So you don't need to fear. The antidote for fear is trust and belief, in the way that trust can help mitigate anxiety. And your Saturn return is a period of time where you are forced to trust the things that you don't understand and the things out of your control, because you're never going to be able to control them. And sometimes the goal, most of life, is perhaps not meant to understand it, it's to live it. Someone asked me the other day, they told me they were very confused and they were looking for meaning in something. It had to mean something. And in explaining it, they recognized maybe it doesn't need to mean anything. Maybe being alive is the point. Maybe the fact that you're living your life is meaning enough for it. That is the warmth of the Saturn return. And the first one, it can be jolting, and in the equivalent amount of jolting it is helpful and it is caring. And I will tell you, far and away, it is the best thing that has ever happened to me. I sit here 3 years ago, I was engaged. I was about to get married. I had just gotten a dog. My dog is 2.5. I was about to get a dog, so I hadn't gotten a dog yet. I was living in a dark apartment in California, no less, but light is really important to me. And I was living in a different apartment and I didn't know which way was up. I didn't like my job. I didn't know what I was meant to do. I didn't know who I was meant to be. I felt the pressure of figuring all of that out on me. I felt the pressure of everyone else's opinions and what my wedding day meant to them. I felt so much pressure and I was so tired and I felt so lonely. And today I sit here with the comfort of my own company in a house with natural lighting, with the assurance of my own authenticity. I have never been happier. I have never felt more optimistic about my life, and I have never felt more loved because I have never felt more me. And as RuPaul says, if you can't love yourself, how are you gonna love somebody else? Saturn taught me, made me know it in my bones that if I don't love myself, how am I to expect other people to love me? So if anything, I believe you should be excited for your Saturn return like you're excited for anything in life. And if you find yourself focusing on it too much, perhaps the message the universe is trying to teach you in that experience is to sit back and be more present in life, because it is beautiful and it is fleeting and we can't get time back. Perhaps that is part of your messaging. Anyway, however this finds you, I hope it reminds you you're always on time for your own life. Nobody knows you like you know you, and you are seen, you are heard, you are loved. I love you. I really appreciate you and the conversation that we've had on my couch today, and I look forward to talking more in the future. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I love you. Be kind to one another. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. I'm deciding last minute to make my husband gluten-free chocolate chip cookies because he loves chocolate chip cookies, but he cannot have wheat. We're gonna do the recipe off of this. We're on X Games mode because Nick has to come home. So he's on his way home. Okay, 3/4 a cup of sugar. 3/4 a cup of brown sugar. So these have been softening. For Valentine's Day, I got him he's been road biking, so we don't have a road bike yet. I told him I would rent him one. We need 3/4 a cup of brown sugar. Really aesthetic, but it's really just kind of not much. This is 1 cup, but we still have some sugar in here, so we're just gonna go with it. The flour and then the egg mix. I think we also need the... This is where this comes in handy. When this is starting to get... Okay, now it's getting the consistency of dough, so we'll put in the M&Ms. And The trick is, you're gonna put this in the fridge for like an hour before you bake them so that they stay fluffy, especially if you're living in a warmer climate like Southern California. Only keep this in the fridge for like a day before cooking it. This should not be in the fridge for weeks. If you want to save it, freeze it. I usually scoop it into individual like little balls and keep them in the freezer so you can like make 1 or 2 a night, but it looks really good. Thanks for coming along. Hi, it has just stopped raining. It is so beautiful outside. It was really raining pretty hard this morning, which I think is kind of beautiful. I love the rain. It reminds me of home. Yesterday, we threw a goodbye tea for our two best friends that are moving to England, and it was so beautiful and lovely. It was just really, really fun. The weather was perfect, and at the end in the afternoon it was foggy, and it felt like a nod to England, honestly. I'm gonna go take Heather on a walk. Nick is still sleeping. Nick and I didn't, he couldn't really sleep last, neither could I. I think the change, like the anxiety around change is weird for both of us. And I think Heather has noticed that I started to put on our walking gear, so we will leave shortly. But yeah, there are a lot of feelings in this period of life, and we're both really, really excited for our friends, and I think the ending of a chapter, right when another chapter begins, is a funny place to be. So I understand it's unsettling for both of us in different ways. The weather is nice and the sun is out. Let's get to walking, Heather. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more on our walk together. Actually, I think it's gonna be too cold. I think I'm gonna need my big puffer. It's funny seeing the influx of all the dogs and their dog parents now walking, that it's like the rain has stopped momentarily. But yeah, it's weird being at this intersection of life, I think. Also, my Saturn return just ended on Friday. I'm not gonna lie, I felt a lightness when it ended. I'm so thankful for all of the lessons learned within my Saturn return, and I am really thankful for recognizing that the weight is off my back, like having taken it off my back. I know we're entering the Lunar New Year, and it's the year of the horse, and I've seen read a lot about how fast a horse can run without dead weight, and I think my Saturn return really helped me relieve the dead weight off my back. It helps identify where you're still holding weight, where you can just kind of like slough it off, or try to slough it off and clear the path, I guess. All of a sudden it feels like a lot is happening, and I generally like being in the midst of change. I think what's interesting to practice is still sitting while other people, I guess, do it first. We just got back. I'm losing light. It was also the best Valentine's Day ever. I feel like every year gets better because Nick and I know each other more every year. He got me full flowers, breakfast in bed. We had just a really wonderful and warm weekend. He also got me this necklace. It's so pretty. I love it so much. I think I'm gonna end the vlog here. Thank you so much for watching. It means so much to me. Make sure to give it a like, comment your favorite part about celebrating Valentine's Day, and or any tips you have for maintaining long distance friendships, going through life, any advice you might want for me to cover for you in next week's vlog or any other content. I am more than happy to provide. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every Wednesday, and if nobody has told you yet today, you're always on time for your own life. I love you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.